Hello, how you doing? My name is Dr. J. Here for Imagine Wellness. I wanted to go over a few things about cancer. I know that it's a serious topic, and I wanted to talk to you and explain to you a little bit about what is it that we do in our office that has really helped a lot of our clients. How the how did that get restoration? So at the end of the day, what can we do differently than what you're doing right now, besides chemotherapy or even surgeries, procedures to get rid of the cancer? Some of these cancers are terminal, so again, when people talk about cancer, it really hits hard because it's a life and death situation. There's supposedly be no cure. So again, a lot of these things are essential, and you're really going through a lot of stress. And what do I do? So today, I want to kind of just explain to you a little bit about the theories about cancer. What can we do different? What is good for you? What can you do? But also, if you want to take it to the next level, we can always bring some new things in our office and doing specific testing to identify what's going on with you. But above all, is learning and understanding other ways of helping your body become stronger, so your own body can start fighting the cancer and kind of going to the root of the dysfunction instead of just chasing your symptoms or the area affected. So let me just tell you, I am a doctor of chiropractic. That's who I am. That's my degree. I do have a diploma of internal disorders for about from the Chiropractic Association. I have studied a lot abroad, especially in Spain. I lived 3 years up there, learning a lot about functional medicine. So, again, wake up call came when my grandmother died of diabetes. I really started studying a little bit more into the chronic disease model because of my parents being diabetic. I just didn't want them to die like my grandmother did. So therefore, that's what created my interest in learning more and helping my patients in chronic disease. In which, in the studies that I've done, has elevated me to just work completely functional medicine, natural way of healing. And this is what I'm doing today. Okay, guys. So I hope that today everything that I present to you will make sense, and maybe you can start doing and taking action in a different way. And I would love, to get a consultation with you if this is something that will interest you, is something that makes sense to you. And I'm pretty sure you've done some studies on what's going on with you. So again, uh, let's begin. I'm going to spend the next 35 to 40 minutes explaining specific things about cancer and, in general, what is it that we're hearing about cancer and how that is working. Okay, so I'm going to show my slides right quick. Again, I am Dr. J here in Imagine with the Imagine Wellness. Um, so let's begin. Let's begin by understanding a little bit about cancer. All right, guys. There's a variety of different things that I want to go over. I do want to go about, our healthcare system is really, in a way, dysfunctioning, and really, I don't know what's going on with all this research and everything else. There, I don't know how we cannot have a solution by now. But at the end of the day, that's not what I'm about. I'm about what can I do for you? What can I do different? What can you do different? Where are you at this point in your life? And what else can I bring to your plate that's going to make a difference in your life and staying and surviving this devastating disease? Okay, guys. So let's kind of begin with cancer. And guys, cancer is really not something new. It's been going around for a long time, and it affects a lot of people these days. All right. So again, there's going to be 1 in 2 men having cancer sometime or other in their lives. 1 in 3 women and one in every 265 child will be diagnosed in cancer in their lifetime. So again, it's very again, it's affecting you in many different ways. So what is cancer, right? What's going on with cancer, and what are the theories? What is out there that is telling us how is this happening? So I'm going to talk about two theories in which they're out there right now. In which I know that I've done a little bit of research is what the cancer is coming from and what is our new research showing, and where they're really directing the energy into the whole research of cancer. So remember that you have your stem cell, it's a normal cell, right? Something destroys that cell. All right. In one theory, and we'll talk about a few things. One of them is that there's a microorganism that destroys that cell, in which that microorganism starts degenerating destruction of the cell, in which then that cell, okay, within time, all right, affects other cells. And before you know it, your body capsulizes, or it just keeps on growing and it creates a tumor. And then after that, the progression part is when, invasion, it's everywhere. Okay, so again, a lot of you guys need to understand a little bit of the time frame of this. This whole cell dysfunction could be happening at any time, but the progression, right, the latency period of 20 years or more is going to come from the initial cell dysfunction to the malignant tumor dysfunction, or to the progression of invasion. So again, initial, and I like this because I wanted to kind of just, a lot of times we think about cancer, and as soon as you hear the word cancer, you think about, oh my goodness, I'm dying, and before you know it, your doctor's saying, hey, let's cut. Let's do some procedures, surgeries. Let's get into chemotherapy. Let's get you started right away. Well, you need to understand first where, what kind of, what stage are you? All right. Are you in the initiated stage where there's just a few cells affected? Are you beginning of tumors, right? That would be the promotion, right? Or are you the progression, the malignancy, right? So again, we want to know where those are, what's happening with my body. So again, from the initial to the whole metastasis or to the whole your body invasion can be up to 20 years in different cancers. Yes, there are different cancers in different aggressions. There are different areas, and that's the reason why pancreatic cancer. You're gonna get a lot of different cancers, skin, thyroid, all these different cancers that could be anywhere. So again, what is cancer? Well, again, it's just again also affected cells, all right, in which a lot of times they become overgrowing, okay, and the overgrowth of the cells, your defense mechanism cannot destroy them, or cannot destroy themselves, and then they're just gonna what continue to multiply, and within time you're going to see that they're going to be invading other cells, and before you know it, it's invading your whole body, and that's really what causes a lot of the death. So let's talk about that initial state of your stem cell or your normal cells being affected by cancer. In the theories, all right, and how that happens. Back in 1852 or 1849, out in the area, you had this Dr. William Russell, which is an amazing guy, who's the one that started looking into cancer more of a, I think he's the one that got the Gram stain first, right? The one that had a stain of cancer cell, and he figured out that there's a cancer cell here. So the whole theory of his was that the disruption and dysfunction to the cell came from a microorganism, right? It could be a virus, bacterial, fungus. It could get into the cell and the destruction of the cell. All right. So what happens is that it goes into the cell. It destroys the mitochondrial aspect of your cell. Again, this is where the area where you produce your energy, your ATP. All right. So therefore, if the cell can no longer produce ATP, right, then it's going to steal energy from other cells. All right. And that's how the other cells become weaker and so on and so forth. But his idea was that microorganism has destroyed the way your body, okay, that cell can absorb sugars. Now, not only that, by the destruction of the mitochondrial aspect, that cell becomes very acidity. It's the reason why a lot of the doctors today, we talk about alkalinity, right? You have a lot of acid, all right? Now, so this is the reason why when you have cancer, a lot of the doctors are going to tell you, hey, slow down on the sugars. And that's one of the reasons why, because if we can decrease the sugar, right, the good healthy cells will get energy from fats or proteins, but not necessarily from the sugar. And there's a small amount of sugar that is created from those cancer cells that can still keep them alive, but at least you will weaken them. All right. So again, that is one of the things that's going on right now as far as energy. This is the reason why sugar is not very good for for your cancer cells, because we want to what? We want those good cells that don't have the cancer in them to survive from energy or fat proteins, but yet we want to get rid of the sugars, because then the bad cells become very weak and they're really easy to be destroyed. All right. The next thing that happens within this area is that your body, or excuse me, that microorganism within the cell is going to start to create a little bit of a tissue wrapped around that cell, right? And really, that tissue becomes thick enough that it makes the cell look healthy, when in reality is very, very sick. So that camouflages that cell to look healthy. So when the defense mechanisms and your body comes to attack that, they look at that cell as normal, but really in reality it's not. This is another reason why a lot of the times, if you are eating red meat, right? Remember that what destroys this substance around the cell is going to be a lot of the metabolic enzymes. So therefore, when you eat a lot of red meats, it's going to create what? You're using all the metabolic enzymes to break down and metabolize those red meats. Now you don't have enough to what? To break down some of this cells, this dysfunction, or this covering of the cell, the camouflage. Because if it can be destroyed, now your cells can see it, and now you can destroy it, and it'll be easier to do. So again, this is just another microorganism that is affecting you. So again, I'm just talking to you about the theories about what the foods that you need to be eating and why not. All right. So again, that is one of the biggest theories that Dr. Williams really brought out, which are really cool. They're really, I believe in that. I really do, because even until today, I know that there's been research that about 15 to 20% of the cancers are viral. Okay, so again, a lot of things like Epstein virus, right? That could create lymphomas. All right. HPVs, right? Human papillomavirus, right? Your cervix, you're gonna liver, right? Hepatitis B, C virus is going to affect cancers within the liver. So again, these are a lot of the things that we're looking at as far as that's concerned. So yeah. So now, let me kind of just go over a little bit of a thing called apoptosis. But the reason why I want to go over apoptosis is because your body has a system and a mechanism to destroy the cells from the inside out. So the apoptotic system is really important in our office. Now, in today's research, right, in today's world, most of the thing that and I'll come back to the apoptotic, but most of the thing in the new theory is that the reason why you create cancer is because you have a genetic mutation that's affecting that cell, and from that DNA mutation, it starts affecting other cells, and before you know it, you create an array of dysfunctions, right? And then again, a lot of these mutations that your mom or dad has given you from the environmental factors or whatever it might be, they give you this mutation. It becomes activated, and from the activation of that mutation, now you get cancer, right? So again, this is the new research, the new studies, and all the money that's donated right now is going towards that study in understanding genetics. All right. So again, we're forgetting about the whole microorganism process. We're forgetting about all that, and that's kind of where we are today. There is a problem with genetics, so therefore, by having a genetic dysfunction, let's say in women with breast cancer, if you have the BRCA gene and that is positive, then you have a good chance of creating cancer, right? But remember, this is the epigenetics, is the turn on or off. Can you take that bad genetics to your grave? We mostly do on a lot of genes. So what's causing the activation of this is really important. But above all, I want to bring back a little bit in the apoptotic because it's affected by this. I want to bring that back also to what the microorganisms. So let's explain to you, like Dr. Williams, right? Dr. Russell Williams, what did he thought about the microorganisms destruction into the genetic aspect of your cells. So in this side of your cell, if you see these cells here, you're gonna have these red dots. That's called the nucleus, all right? So in the nucleus is where really in the middle of the cell is where you have all the DNA replication of that cell. So every second of your life, you're using DNA because you're multiplying cells completely every time, making proteins. A lot of synthesis of those proteins are happening from your DNA. Now, in the whole concept of Dr. Williams, he was talking about that the reason why you create mutations within the nucleus of the cell is because those microorganisms get to the nucleus of the cell. All right, and then when it gets there, it destroys this protein. I think it's a protein P51. I think is the name of this protein, which is the one that initiates the apoptotic destruction. Right. So this protein, what it's doing is that it's like another the red button for it to explode itself. Why? Because the genetic copy, say, is not right. Okay, so the copy is not the same. The copy is really bad. So your body activates this whole defense mechanism where there's that red button. I call it the red button in apoptotic, and boom, it explodes the cell. As you can see here, how that works. All right. So again, this inside, the genetics is not right. It's not the same as a normal cell, the mother cell. The daughter cell is bad. Your body has an apoptotic system. But if the microorganisms get in there and destroy this protein, and it doesn't allow you to destroy that cell, now you got overproduction of those cells. Okay, so again, this is what Dr. Williams in their own studies and thinking was, and which I really like to understand, that I love to believe that all these things is happening because of weakness of the autoimmune dysfunction, whether in the DNA and the apoptotic system, and that's what's happening, right? So that's one way in which this apoptotic place was affected, where your body is no longer having the ability to destroy the overgrowth of cells. Because remember, you got normal cells, you got good cells, growing, but then you have these overgrowth of cells that are not dying. So if they're not dying by the apoptotic, they're not dying by natural death, they're not dying by destruction of your autoimmune, then why is it? Do you have a weak autoimmune? Is it the microorganisms? Is it a genetic mutation? So again, we got to look at the whole picture, and I believe that the whole picture is there. All right. So I'm not against the mentality that could be a genetic mutation. I think they do could play a big role in there. But at the end of the day, though, I do believe that there's more of the microorganisms and the weakness of our defense mechanisms and the dysfunction to our cells that are causing a lot of diseases within our body. But not only that, the environmental factors of life today, with what comes into our foods, our air, our water, is that affecting a lot of this dysfunction. And I'm just giving you guys a little bit of a theory and story of what I believe and how I see this objectively. Okay, it's my point of view here of how I wanna help people, but I want you to see my point of view and objectively. So again, there's been a variety of different treatments about this. Okay, guys. So how do we help this? Okay. I know that there for a while in the 60s, 50s, 60s, there was a guy by the name of Dr. Rife. He created the Rife frequency therapy. Now, this thing was creating a lot of this radiation or these vibrations that would destroy cancer, and he helped a lot of people In fact, that machine still stands today, but there was a lot of attack to this guy. Very, very, very bright doctor, but then the whole government area, it really, and the AMA and all the agencies really went against him and destroyed his credibility. So again, but there were tons of people that were really getting healthy and destroying by the cancer, not just cancer, but a lot of other diseases. So again, there's all these different frequencies and radiation and waves that really help a lot of these patients, okay, to really get healthier in a healthier environment. All right. So, but then, what we're looking at today, though, the main concept today is that it's going to be chemotherapy, right? What is chemotherapy, right? So, chemotherapy is really a way that your body or the medications destroy these cells. All right. And again, I'm not against that either. I think that it's very important to understand that the chemotherapy drugs are really, they have an awesome base mentality of it. All right, there's different ways that the chemicals can destroy the cells, right, in the cancer cells. It's going to be one through the alkylating agent or drugs that bind to the specific DNA cells and stop their replication. So in other words, they become neuter, right? They don't get to produce again. So again, the alkylating is important. Anti-metabolic medications, right? So what is this doing? It decreases the nutrients of the cell. It doesn't allow the nutrients going to the cell. Obviously, that's going to kill it, right? So it doesn't matter what's the genetic or organism or whatever, it's going to die within itself. Antimicrotubular agencies, all right? Again, there are another drugs that's gonna destroy the formation of the cell, right? So it's gonna destroy a lot of the membranes and things like that. That is gonna destroy that. And the other one here, chemotherapy, antibiotics, okay? Also anti-tumors, antibiotics, especially here says antibiotic formulated inhibits the RNA synthesis as well as slow down and prevent cell mitosis. So again, the division of the cell, right? We don't want it to divide. We destroy the genetic of it to division, and that is destruction. So again, these are awesome. In the whole cancer research, this is awesome research. Okay, but the sad thing about this chemotherapy is that it's destroying you. There hasn't found an agent that can take these chemicals to the specific cancer cells, and that is going to all of the cells. And this is the reason why you're destroying good cells and bad cells, right? So that's not very healthy. And I mean, to me, if I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it both ways. I'm looking at how can I help the microorganisms within my body? How can I help my defense mechanism? How can I create diet the way it needs to be? But not only that, is my cancer advanced enough that I feel that this chemotherapy is my last step? And not only that, is that going to help me? Well, I mean, there's a lot of research that says that it doesn't. There's a lot of research, a lot of people that do well that said that it does. I really could not tell you. This is just a choice in which the patient, and I would talk about it. I would give you my 2 cents of how that works. But at the end of the day, it is your decision to do what it needs to be done in survival. Again, to me, it's about the stage and the area of the cancer and what is it that we can do at that point. And can you do both? Can you do an organic natural with a chemotherapy? Most definitely. I've had patients that really have gotten great results by doing both. We help them about diet because I know there's a lot of medical doctors out there that are learning the medication, but not necessarily in the nutrient value of what to eat, what to restore, how to help it. And that's what I'm going to go over here in a minute. What can we do naturally to help you? But again, I wanted to kind of to show you a little bit about the whole concept of what it is that you are dealing with. What is a little bit, a few theories of what's going on. And in reality, to me, I believe in the whole microorganism. I believe that there's a lot of whatever it might have been, fungus, all these different things, and you have a really weak defense mechanism. It doesn't allow you to kill these viruses, bacteria, or organisms. But at the same time, also once it gets into your cell, it starts disrupting that cell, destroys the nucleus of your cell, and then before you know it, you're creating. Remember the apoptotic system. You're not killing themselves. So again, now you have this overgrowth of cells, and the daughter cells are very, very aggressive because they are not DNA is the normal good stem cell. Now you got all these different daughter cells are destructive, and they're really again affecting all the other tissue around you. So again, that's when it's already in that progressive part of the process of cancer. So again, it's important to know what stage you're in. It's important where it's at, and it's important, to identify a little bit about the risk. Again, what is my risk? And that's to me very important. A lot of doctors like to just be straightforward. You have cancer, you got 2 months to live. To me, it's like, hey, don't kill your spirit. I believe that God's got a miracle in your life, and let me deal with it. Let me fight my fight, right? Because this is for you. This is you fighting a fight for your life. This is not a doctor fighting it for you. This is you deciding in your mind that you want to fight it, or this is you deciding in your mind saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm just gonna relax and kind of live my last few days and be happy, and that's fine. Again, I don't agree with that mentality. I believe that God's always got something for us, and then God's always something got to show up, especially for the people that are the sickest. Man, if you believe in that mentality, I believe that there's a lot more that you're going to be doing in this life, and you got a purpose, and you got a family, and you got somebody to fight for. And how are you going to go out by not swinging? And that's just me. I want to give you the tools to go out swinging and understanding that I'm doing the best that I can. And not only that, even if you had surgery and even if you had cancer, you did the chemotherapy, and they said that it's negative. There's always that negative there, but you still have that that dysfunction or that chance of creating that cancer again. So again, this is me just telling you, how can I make your body stronger? What can I do to restore it? What can I do to help it? And that's really what I'm going to be going talking about next. So again, understanding that process and understanding that concept is important. Okay, guys, remember the stages. Remember that 20 years sometimes from the beginning to the invasion. And again, it just depends what there's different cancers, different areas that this just multiplies quicker. But again, those are the mechanisms. All right, guys. If you want to rerun this again and watch it again, those are the mechanisms in which I'm looking at and which I really want to get to get you some information. All right. So again, let me talk a little bit about genetics, right? So because again, that's one of the big ones, right? Genetics. So what can I do different? What can I provide for you? All right. So let me kind of explain to you a little bit about epigenetics and how it works, and a little bit about how mutations become activated and how mutations become unactivated. So the whole research right now is that if you have a cancer activated from genetics, then that's where it's coming from. I don't know if I agree with that, because I mean, there is a way, and yes, there's a chance, but there's a way in which we can really understand a little bit more of how important it is your lifestyle, and how important it is certain systems in your body. So, for example, I'm just giving you this, and I'm going to talk a little bit about epigenetics, the development of it, and how it works. And I'm going to be going over very, very light. I'm not going very deep into it, but I just want to make sure you understand a little bit of the concept of how that works. All right, so your body, this is a chromosome, right? All that information is linear. Your body's going to make it into a bunch of little to make it very small, because it's got to fit in every cell, right? So all that information, you've seen the helix, the whole helix genetic, right? Tube, you see it all the time. So what's going on with that? So let me give you an explanation of how your body creates this information so long into very small portion, is by creating histones, right? So there's histones, there's these proteins, they look like cylinders, these blue circles that you see here in my screen. All right. So imagine those circles, and you have all the information of your DNA wrapped around it. Okay. Then, yes, you can see here, connects to the other histone, and so on and so forth. And that's how your body puts all this information in a very small packet. Right now, what is in between each histone is really the expression of your genes. Right. If we're talking about epigenetics, that is what is expressed. All right. So if let's say that I have a cancer in this pink area, but it's wrapped around my histone, you're not gonna get it activated, because it's not activated form. It's in the histone, it's wrapped around, your body's not expressing it. All right. Now, what happens when that pink is not in the histone wrap, but is in between each histone? Now, what happens? It's accessible to what? To activation, to become active, right? So let's say that you have any kind of, let's say, breast cancer, right? We just spoke about the BRCA gene. Let's say that that gene, that mutation that mom and dad has given you, mom or dad has given you, is sitting here. And again, guys, it could be prostate, it could be other cancers, right? Not just talking about women, but let's say that you have that right there. All right. So what can happen in your life that can make my histone unwrap this information to become activated? Right? What can happen? What can unwind my genetics to become activated? And that's kind of one of the big things that I kind of wanted to talk about. The very first thing that I look at is, you look over here. All right, what unwinds my histones to create that BRCA gene, or that cancer gene, to become accessible to what activation is going to be? One, epigenetics, right? It's going to be these histone tails. You can see these little tails, and you're going to have a lot of these tails in each of these histone proteins. Now, when you get all these environmental factors of what you drink, what you smoke, all this dirtiness in your body, and those things start attaching to these histones, and it comes a point where these histone tails, and it comes a point where all these histone tails are full, it's going to wicken up that histone wrap, or the DNA, and it's going to unwrap it. Now it's going to become what? Progression to activation. So what it began with what? My environmental factors. Do I smoke? Do I eat a lot of fat? Do I eat a really bad diet? Am I always drinking? Am I not exercising? Am I do I live by a factory? A lot of times electricity, am I underneath all these electric poles? All these different things, right? Environmental factors. Are my water, what's going on with it? Is there good water, bad water? Again, all these different things in the environment is going to come in, and if those come in, they will attach to these histone tails. And now those histone tails being full of all this bad things, now it's going to unwind my histone, my information, and now it becomes in progression what? And a chance of activating that cancer. This is really to me the theory that a lot of this new age, the new mentality of cancer, and all these 90 something billions of dollars spent is researching that area. Now, the other way, there's two ways in which you become unwind in this histone. The other one is going to be this thing called the methyl groups, right? So in our system, in our cells, we do have a process called the methylation group. So there's certain mechanisms in your body that you're going to create methyl groups. Okay, now if this methyl groups in epigenetics is dysfunctioning, in other words, uh, the methyl group you're not producing enough, or under methylating or over methylating, but let's say under methylating, it means that these methyl groups are wrapped around, in which also tightens up my histone. That information that's wrapped around my histone, it tightens it up. So therefore, if you're not methylating right and you don't have enough methyl groups to create that tightness of my histone, so it doesn't become loose and unwind, okay, then it's methylation. So we got to check those genes in your body, make sure that your mom and dad did not affect, all right, certain genes that affects the MT, especially like the MTHFR gene, the MTR gene, the MTRR gene, the MAT gene, the BHMT gene. So there's certain genes, right, and certain chemical reactions to produce these methyl groups. If those are affected, then you might not be producing enough methyl groups, and that's giving you the unwinding where your genes are those epigenetics or those mutations that mom and dad gave you start to become what? Expressed. And now you're having cancer because of genetic mutations, right? Again, this is just me going over a little bit more into how important it is your environment to your cancer and to your different diseases, because genetics play a big role within that. All right. So again, I wanted to make sure that you understand that process. Okay. So therefore, let's say, for example, if your mom gave you a bad gene, right, or mom, or let's say that you got good genes, let's say the bacteria in your gut, right? This is the good flora, intestinal flora, like the the FUT2 genes. Sorry there. FUT2 genes that really help a lot into the destruction, the disruption of the good bacteria in your gut. If mom and dad gave you good genes within that, no problems. You're not going to create dysfunction and leaky and disruption in your gut. You're not going to have any disruption of the gut tight junctions. There's nothing leaking into the gut from the gut into the blood. So therefore, that's phenomenal. But what happens when your mom or your dad gives you a bad genetic that is giving you a destructive flora and weakness of the flora of your gut? Now you create all this weakness from the mucosal of your protection of your lining of your gut, especially in the small intestine. Now you create this permeability of your gut. Now you got foods, parasites, substances leaking from the internal world of your gut all the way into the blood flow. So that's going to create a lot of inflammation and dysfunction, which I'll talk about tonight. But at the end of the day, though, this genetics happen because of that histone being unwrapped, right? So again, that I'm just giving you a little bit of an example of how that's happening, what is happening within that. Okay, guys. Now, so and then let me just give you a perfect example of what's going on with your nutrients and your environmental factors, and I'm going to give you a perfect scenario here. All right, so this is you. All right, this is me. Let's say the guy on your the guy on your left side. You're gonna see where he lives in the hills of Italy. He's eating nothing but veggies, organic foods that's grown on his garden. This guy's playing tennis every day. He's listening to music. He's not watching TV. He's out in the environment. He's just living a very healthy life. He's out fishing. He's out there hunting his own food. He's just having a good old time, and he's exercising. All right. So as you can see, he's going to be a normal, healthy. Their genetic expression is going to be suppressed in so many ways because you don't have other environmental factors. Remember, we talked about those little histone tails. It means that you got a really good, healthy. You're going to have a less chance of creating all this epigenetics into cancer or anything like that. All right. So again, you got a low chance of creating an expressive gene of cancer because you're taking care of business, and your environment is pure air. Right. The guy on the other side here, on the right side,
Now you're gonna see there what happens. This guy is overweight, he's bald, and I'm talking about this is you. This is the clone. You win one way, and your twin win the other way. How can this happen? How can this guy be so out of shape? How can he be bald? How can he have diabetes, high blood pressure? How can he have all these diseases compared to the other when it's the same cells in the same person? Well, that's because this guy lives in a whole different environment of his life, and this guy is eating popcorn, pizza, right? He's drinking beer every day. He's no exercising. He's eating a lot of the cakes, got a lot of candies, Coca Colas, watching TV all day. There's no activity. There's no good air. So what's happening? All those cells that we're talking about, those histone tails are full. He's activating all this really bad genetics that might be there in progression of expression. So again, this is just me telling you guys that it is important to know that the way you live your life plays a big role in your genetics.
Right? I mean, that doesn't mean you're not going to get any cancer or anything like that. It just means that you have a lower chance of creating it, right? And not only that, we have a better chance of what? Of defeating it by understanding a little bit into these histones and the methylation system. How does that work? So this is the thing that I'm bringing to the table for you. What am I doing to help you? Well, obviously, guys, we need to identify and specifically diet. What are the things that we need to eat right? Well, now we're going to talk about what are the things that are wrong. What are you? Where are you going to stop? What? How? Remember we talked about the sugars, right? Especially the sugar, but we need to know what is sugar, right? Because you're eating buns and you're thinking it's not sugar, right? You might eat a lot of fruits because you think you're eating normal, but that's sugar, right? So we need to talk about a little bit more on the refined sugars, simple sugars. What are those? How are they helping me? Where do I need to decrease? Plus, we need to clean your body from a lot of things that's causing all these cancers. We need to get rid of a lot of things. If you smoke, metals, toxins, I mean poisons, everything that's coming into your body, all the things that we use on a daily basis, we really got to work hard to really educate you and tell you what we need to do within that. Again, because we do need to we need to know that we want to be healthier, right? We're going to talk about a little bit in educating you what are the anti-cancer foods, how much you should eat, what are the ones that I need to eat, which ones I don't, which one has too much sugar, right? Guys, there's tons of things out there today. What is the specific herb, what are specific medications out there? We have tons of them that really help to destroy a lot of the cells. But again, at the end of the day, in purifying your body and understanding what's going on is going to be very, very important, because at the end of the day, as a Christian, I always like to read the Bible. It says, worship the Lord your God, and his blessings will be on your foods and water. I will take away sickness from among you. Exodus 20-25. So again, if we can start concentrating on the right foods and the right water and the right environment within your body has the ability to really restore itself and destroy a lot of these cells, a lot of these cancers, and get you back in track of where you need to be. Okay. So again, I'm just kind of giving you a little bit about the information. But the most important thing that I believe in my way of looking at my patients, obviously we're going to talk about the epigenetics, right? We're going to be looking at genetics. How do they work? What can we do different? How do we put that together for you? But also, what is causing a lot of the inflammation in your body that's causing your defense mechanisms to activate very high and create autoimmune weakness? And in my office, not only are we going to be looking at your foods that you eat and nutrient value, but I also want to look at the nutrient dysfunction. What are the foods that's giving you your weakness of your autoimmune? And to me, and what we do in our office is going to begin in your gut. We're going to be looking at a term called leaky gut, as you can read here. We're going to talk about a little bit more into the permeability of your gut. How did my gut become destructive enough to create a lot of what inflammation, or a lot of my defense mechanism attacking these substances are coming through the permeability of my gut that's giving me weakness, that doesn't allow me to destroy the cells, or it doesn't allow me to really be healthier in that environment of genetics. How is my body going to get healed quicker, and how can I create the defenses for you to be strong enough that that your body can recover in a quicker way? All right. So again, we do have this term leaky gut. There are triggers that destroy the lining of your gut. So I'm going to explain it quickly, guys, so you guys can understand it. There's going to be certain triggers that are going to kill this or destroy this glue that holds my intestine together, especially the tight junctions here. All right, so you're going to have dietary proteins, low hydrochloric acids, antibiotics, infections, sugars, pregnancy, stress, menopause, toxins, parasites. You're going to have like candida, say, H. pylori, all these different areas. Those are the triggers. Those are the reasons. Those are the things that destroy this. And not everything is that you swallow, okay? A lot of times, especially in medications, a lot of medications will destroy the good bacteria in your gut. So therefore, if it destroys the good bacteria in your gut, now you have really what? Destruction of that tight junction. You're going to create inflammation. You're going to create a lot of what? Acid in your gut. And remember, cancer is acidity. We want alkalinity. but most of the acidity is coming from the inflammation. So we want to be attacking all inflammation in your body. So that's the first thing. And I mean, if you're stressing out, really high cortisol can destroy the lining of your gut. Some of these hormones, menopausal. So again, guys, this is just me giving you the reasons why your body could be destructive in your digestive system. So therefore, once this leaky gut is formed from those triggers, let's say that I eat a food, and let's say that I'm eating a carrot. If I eat a carrot in my mouth, I chew it right in my mouth, excuse me, and it goes to my stomach. My body breaks it down further. It goes down to my small intestine, and in the molecular level of once that carrot is broken down to the molecular level of nutrients, my body is going to absorb their micronutrients to those villi, right? So those fingers like that you see here, villa, microvilla, is going to be absorbed to my cell, is going to go to my blood, it's going to get transported to wherever my body needs that nutrients or that chemical in my body, okay? But what happens, all right? So that's the normal pathway. But instead of absorbing my carrot, okay, through that normal pathway, that carrot actually eventually goes through that leaky gut, those microscopic holes that I've created from some of these triggers, it's going to land in my blood. And once it lands in your blood, guys, you know, that's the connection between the dirty external world with my perfect, clean internal world. So the internal world has an awesome mechanism of keeping it that way, keeping it pure. And I'm just going to, again, it's more complex than this, but I'm trying my best to just kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of what's happening in your body that's causing my autoimmune become very excited and creating inflammation, and to my autoimmune to become weakness, that it cannot destroy my cancer cells, it cannot destroy COVID, it cannot destroy any of those areas. Why? Because I'm very weak, right? And if I'm very weak now, it can invade my body and it can kill me, right? So again, if you ate a carrot and instead of going from that molecular level, going into the normal pathway of absorption, it leaks through this leaky gut, it lands in my blood. There's going to be two waves of attack per se on this. First, you're going to have, let's call this T cells. All these T cells do is they monitor the blood, and they come up to anything that is bad, okay, they're going to flag it. So if there's a virus, a bacteria, a parasite, whatever it is, they're going to flag it because it's bad. So they come up to this carrot. Remember, they don't know it's a carrot, it's just a chemical, but it's in the wrong absorption pathway. It needs to destroy it because it could be bad for you. So what does it do? It comes and puts a flag to it. It creates a memory, right? It changes it blue per se. All right, so that's the first step, is acknowledgement and creating a memory of that carrot. From now on, every time a carrot comes into my system, right, it's got to come with a flag. Why? Because it is already a memory saying that it's bad. Then you have these killer cells, and all they do is look for flags. Any flag that's there is going to be destroyed. All right, so again, any flag, any food that comes in, it's not about nutrient value. It could be your spinach, beets, carrots, right, cucumbers. It could be the chicken. Again, it could be on the opposite of the bad, like, you know, the milk, the breads, anything. It could be anything. This is the reason why is individualized dysfunction for you individually that's causing this imbalance. Is not a cookie cutter diet to just say, oh yeah, we're going to give you an anti-inflammatory diet, keto diet, Atkins diet. No, we're going to identify what are the foods that's affecting you, right? Because that's what's causing what my killer cells to attack those flags. Now, when your body attacks those flags, you're going to create a thing called the circulatory immune complex. All right. So in the circulatory immune complex, the first thing you're going to create what is inflammation, guys. All right. You're going to create a lot of inflammation, which is really the root of a lot of the immunity abnormalities, a lot of the autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's, you know, all these MS, AL, all these different lupus, eczema, so many different dysfunctions, right? So again, you create a lot of inflammation. All right. It's going to cross the brain barrier. That's another thing that's going to happen. All right. You're not going to get you're going to create the obviously intolerance to your food. And now every time your food comes in, your body's attacking it. And it's creating all the disruption and inflammation in your body. Now you're not going to get the nutrients out of my carrot. So again, it's creating all this dysfunction, right? So now this is the reason why we have to identify those flags. Why? Because right now, if you have a whole army of your defense mechanisms and 3/4 of your body is your army is being fighting this junk that's coming through your digestive system for so long, you're going to have a 1/4 of your army left to protect your body and the visceral and important organs in your body, right? This is the reason why you just created autoimmune excitation, where my defense mechanism is trying to clean my blood. And remember this: what happens, you know, if you eat the same foods every day, which you probably do? You probably eat the same foods in different form. And every time you go to your store, you're probably buying the same foods, the same aisle, everything that you like. You're eating those foods every day, all day, and you've been eating them for years. What happens if your body's created maybe 20, 30 foods that is fighting every time that you eat it, right? And like I said, it could be your vegetables. It could be anything that is healthy. It also could be causing the problem. This is the reason why we need to identify those, right? So having all those same foods every day, you're causing tons of inflammation. You got tons of flags, right?
that 3/4 of their army is fighting all those flags. Okay, so again, now you got the quarter of your army left to protect everything else. That's not enough to protect you from the overgrowth of cells, right? If your body cannot kill those cells, the apoptotic system is off. Your body has the ability to kill that. Remember, we talked about that cell that now you can see. Well, your body doesn't have the ability because it cannot do it because it's very weak in immunity. Same thing with COVID or even the flu, allergies. Why? Because your body's going to have to what? React differently because it doesn't have the defense mechanism to protect itself. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to identify what can I do for you, for your body to start working better. Even if you change your diet, but some of those foods that you're eating healthy could be also the inflammation factor that you're creating that's giving me the excitatory inflammatory my defense mechanism. And now I'm creating a lot of more inflammation that I want, and that's pain, right? And that's giving me a weakness that my body can no longer attack those cancer cells. So again, this is one way in which I know that I want to help you. So how can I help you within this system? Well, find the triggers, clean and repair the leaky gut, and then identify those flags. Let's get those flags out of your system. Let's get the inflammation out so your body can come back and become whole as an army and can attack those bad cells. You can attack any virus, any bacteria, anything that's coming to your body because now you have a strong immunity and your body can do amazing things when that immunity is correct. So again, just looking at certain pathways, right? I'm talking about system dysfunctions, right? I'm just talking about the digestive system, how important it is. And you probably have heard this, right? 70, 75, even 80% of your defense mechanisms in your gut. So I'm telling you and I'm explaining to you the physiological aspect of what is it that we can do, actually can do something different. All right, so again, that's kind of what's happening right now with your immunity. We want to work with this system. And I know you probably never heard about this system. And this is huge. It is huge. It is huge. You need to understand that. You need to see me because we really need to work with that. Also, not only that, there's other organs in your body that are important to increase and what's affecting every cell of your body. And a lot of it is going to be one of them that I really like to talk about is the thyroid. I believe that a lot of the patients with cancer have a really slow thyroid, maybe sluggish to low, but a lot of times, it's the most misdiagnosed gland in the world. So again, I always correlate with the thyroid because the thyroid hormone affects every cell of your body. And let me explain it to you quickly here. When your thyroid is producing a hormone called T4, that's thyroxine. Okay, this is the hormone. It's an inactive hormone. All right. If your thyroid could be producing enough hormone, but if it's not activated, then you're going to be very slow in metabolism, very slow in decreasing inflammation. In other words, your body, your liver, your brain, everything's not going to be working right because you're very slow. It's affecting every cell of your body. All right. So again, that's the reason why the conversion from that inactive hormone of T4, okay, is going to be activated in the gut and the liver. So if you're having problems with the gut and the liver, again, we go back to the gut, you see that, but the liver is huge. If you're having issues there, then you're not promoting that T3 hormone that your body needs in every cell because your thyroid is only producing about 7%, a very small amount. All right, so we're talking about 60% in the liver, about 20% in the gut, 20% in other tissues, and also to the reverse T3 in activation. So again, thyroid to me, hormone is going to play a huge role. I want to make sure that that's giving you the best ability for you to respond and really get you there. Adrenal glands play another role within that. I know that's kind of one of the things that I've been looking in the studies in which I've been doing. So again, guys, I just want to make sure that I'm bringing you things new in your life that is really could be helping. My identification in this whole process is that I've created a program in which I really create a 5-pillar program to create the foundation to your health because without the foundation, everything crumbles. And the foundation that I use in my office is going to be through 5 pillars of health. All right. We talked about nutrition. Okay. Nutrition is going to be very important. Why? Because now I'm going to identify those flags. I need to teach you how to eat. I need you to understand what are the right foods from what? From the whole meat, metabolic enzymes. We're going to talk about sugars. All right. We're going to put that together for you. But again, it's got to be individualized to you because we're going to be checking what's in your blood that's giving me all those flags that's going to provide a specific for you, not for just a cookie cutter for everybody else. All right, we're going to repair, restore a lot of detoxification, right? Restore, repair the digestive, the liver, your body. Let's clean it up. We got to get rid of toxins. We got to get rid of metals. We got to get rid of all of that. If I don't get rid of a lot of that, could be affecting your genetic mutations. All right. Fitness and exercise, guys. I know that it sounds bad, but stretching, moving things around is going to be important. Once you decide which way you want to go into your treatment. If you are getting you want to co-work with the chemotherapy or you don't want chemotherapy. I've seen both patients. I've seen patients that don't want the chemotherapy, that want to go organically, and I've seen patients that just want to go chemotherapy. But I've seen a lot of people that they do it together. Again,
the people that I see and work with has gotten phenomenal results. Okay, I haven't lost one. Uh, the Lord has really kept him strong through this whole process. And then there's a fight that they got to go. There's a challenge that they got to go, but you got to face it right on. The other thing is hormones, right? We just spoke about the thyroid, a little bit of the adrenals. Sometimes sex hormones are going to be essential for your body to do better. And again, genetics, right? Genetics, we check mutations. Remember, we spoke about the certain genetic mutations that could be affecting you. How is that methylation system is affecting you? So again, guys, this is what we do. I have an awesome system that really works, and that's important to me, guys. That's really go. So if you really want to get a consultation with me, guys, again, I love to see you. I would love to get a consultation. And again, my patients with cancer, what I do, and if you do go through this whole process of education, I don't have to educate you again on what I do here. Now we're going to concentrate on what you come in with. What are your labs saying? You know, how can we create a plan of action for you? My consultation are 1 hour of time. My charge of my consultation for 1 hour of that time is $287. All right. But since you went through this whole process of education, I will drop that down to $87. Okay, guys, I just want you to understand that it doesn't pay my hour, but I'm here because I want to make sure that, don't leave a rock unturned to figure out if you can get help somewhere else also. And don't be afraid of a co-treatment system. I believe that works well. Either way you want to do it, I'll be supporting you, but at least I will give you a little bit of my information of what I do. And through that consultation, we can talk about, how long do we want to work with you? How much is it? How do we put it together? What labs to run? All of that. That's what this consultation is all about. Okay. Do I help everybody, guys? No, I don't. I only help people who really, what I'm talking about is making sense and are you willing to live to change your lifestyle. I've had patients that sit in front of my office right here, and I asked them, listen, this is your problem. We got to change your diet. And right away they jump up and say, hey, listen, I don't want to get rid of my beer and my coffee. I'm ready to die. And you know what? I respect that, right? That's up to you, and that's your choice. But again, if you are that person that feels that, you know what, you're a fighter and you're going to go out swinging in every way level, there's nothing that you're not going to try to really spend some more time in this world with your purpose of your life. This is a good place for you to start. So I am going to charge you $87 for that consultation. Again, if you have a spouse or a family member that has issues the same as well as this, and they want to do it too, I'll charge them $47 for that consultation with me. And now we're spending an hour and a half together in both people getting healthy. But for that one person that has an issue, $87 is what I'll be charging you for that 1 hour. I really want to help. I really want to help in this whole process, guys. A lot of questions that maybe I didn't answer would be something like, hey, I did this. Is this covered by insurance? Listen, guys, don't let the reason why you don't come and see me. There's some tests that is not covered by insurance. Some of them are. I'll explain that to you as you come along. Can you afford what I do? Listen, again, when we're talking about cancer and your health, there's, money really is not an option there. If you can afford $100, $150 a month, we can really put you in a process that's going to really get you there. So again, there is an investment in what we do because there's a lot of things we're going to be working with you on. So again, guys, I hope that I have brought this little bit more a different view of my process here. If you want to hear some testimonials of what I do in my office, you can go and see a few of them. I know that this young lady here had stage 4 liver cancer. She's got 2 kids. They didn't want to do chemotherapy. They were just way too much. If she had breast cancer that metastasized to the liver, I know that 4.5 months later, she didn't have any problems. She's one of them that did the combination with chemo and our treatment, and she did phenomenal. Go in there and listen to her testimonial. I know that they will give you a little bit light into your life. ImagineWellness.com, you're going to see, and you can also go to our Facebook. There's a few more, and then we have quite a few people there with cancer. If you see this 2 couple here, you will see them also in a testimonial where they talk about colon cancer. So again, there's a lot of different cancers that we have in our office, from thyroid, and really we have done really well with them. So I hope that everything that I brought to your table is making sense, guys. I do like you. If you do want to a consultation, please call me. Call my office. I can get you a consultation right away if you saw this. But again, at the end of the day, guys, stop procrastinating. Okay, let's take some action. Don't be my cat. But again, guys, I hope that I can bring a smile to your life today. To think that there is hope, and to think that there's, there's a fight to be fought, and I got a team ready for you that's gonna fight with you all the way through. Okay. So again, remember, guys, $87. That's what I have. I am going to put on my screen here our information in our office. That way you can uh, call us and you can contact us. We're here at Imagine Wellness, 115 Gallery Circle, Suite 209, San Antonio, Texas 78258. Our number is 210-798-9322. Guys, don't be afraid to work with us outside of the state, outside of the city. I have patients all over the nation. I have a few patients in London. So again, I have Canada, Mexico, Spain. So there's people in which I'm helping all over the world. Now with this whole internet and people learning how to use it well, we can really bring everything to your feet, to the front door, and we'll do the fight with you from here to wherever you're at. So don't let that be a reason why you don't come in and talk to us. Okay, guys. Again, that's our information. Love talking. I love explaining this, what I just did. I just want to say that God bless you and be strong in your journey. Give us a chance to be part of your recovery. All right. Well, God bless you. God bless you. And hopefully we'll be talking to you soon. All right. Bye-bye.